The history of Philippines. Pre-colonial era. Before the arrival of foreign colonizers, the Philippines was inhabited by various indigenous groups with distinct languages, cultures, and belief systems. These groups developed their own social, political, and economic systems. Evidence of early human presence dates back to at least 67,000 years ago, with the discovery of the Calao man. The archipelago was home to different ethnic groups such as the Tagalog, Visayan, Ilocano, and Mindanaoan people. Trade with other parts of Southeast Asia, China, India, and the Arabian Peninsula flourished, leading to the establishment of various early states and kingdoms, such as the Rajanates of Cebu, Butuan, and the Sultanate of Sulu. Spanish colonization, 1521 to 1898. In 1521, Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan arrived in the Philippines, marking the beginning of Spanish influence. Magellan was killed in the Battle of Mactan, but Spain eventually established a foothold in the archipelago under the leadership of Miguel López de Legazpi in 1565. The Philippines was named after King Philip II of Spain. The Spanish introduced Catholicism, and by the late 16th century, they had largely colonized the islands. The Spanish implemented the encomienda system, which granted Spanish settlers land and control over local labor. They built churches, schools, and fortresses, and imposed a centralized government. Over the next centuries, the Philippines became a significant part of the Spanish Empire, and Manila became a crucial port for trade between Asia and the Americas. The Philippine Revolution, 1896 to 1898. By the late 19th century, discontent with Spanish rule grew due to economic hardship, abuses by the clergy, and demands for reform. The propaganda movement, led by intellectuals such as José Rizal, aimed to expose the flaws in the Spanish colonial system. In 1896, Andrés Bonifacio founded the Katipunan, a secret society that sought independence from Spain through armed revolt. The revolution started in earnest in 1896, and in 1898, a turning point came when Emilio Aguinaldo, a leader of the revolutionary forces, declared independence and established the First Philippine Republic. However, Spanish defeat at the Battle of Manila Bay led to the signing of the Treaty of Paris, which ceded the Philippines to the United States. American colonization, 1898 to 1946. Following Spain's defeat, the Philippines became a colony of the United States. The Philippine-American War, 1899-1902, broke out as Filipinos resisted American rule. Despite initial success, the Filipinos were eventually defeated, and the Philippines was under U.S. control. Under American rule, the Philippines saw significant modernization, with improvements in education, infrastructure, and public health. The U.S. also introduced English as the primary language of instruction and government. World War II and Japanese occupation, 1941 to 1945. The Philippines was invaded by Japan in 1941, and the islands were occupied until 1945. The Battle of Bataan and the infamous Bataan Death March marked some of the darkest moments during the occupation. After the Japanese surrender in 1945, the Philippines was devastated by war, but the country began to rebuild. Independence and post-war era, 1946 to 1972. On July 4, 1946, the Philippines gained full independence from the United States. The country established a democratic government, but it faced challenges such as political instability, poverty, and the threat of communist insurgencies. In 1965, Ferdinand Marcos was elected president. He later declared martial law in 1972, citing the threat of communism, but this move allowed him to extend his rule beyond constitutional limits. His regime became known for its corruption, human rights violations, and accumulation of wealth. People Power Revolution, 1986. After years of oppression under Marcos, a peaceful revolution, known as the People Power Revolution, took place in February 1986. The revolution was sparked by widespread opposition to the Marcos regime, especially after the controversial 1986 elections. Millions of Filipinos rallied in Manila, leading to the ousting of Marcos and the restoration of democracy. Corazon Aquino, the widow of opposition leader Benigno Aquino Jr., became the first female president of the Philippines. Contemporary Philippines, 1986 present. Since the revolution, the Philippines has gone through periods of economic growth, political challenges, and social unrest. Successive administrations have faced issues such as corruption, insurgencies, poverty, and natural disasters. The Philippine government has also sought to address issues related to the Muslim insurgency in Mindanao, where various groups, such as the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, MILF, have sought autonomy. In recent years, the Philippines has experienced strong economic growth, but issues such as inequality, poverty, and political polarization remain significant challenges. The country is also grappling with the effects of climate change and natural disasters. In 2016, Rodrigo Duterte became president, implementing a controversial war on drugs and shifting foreign policy towards closer ties with China. Key modern events. Disasters. The Philippines is prone to natural disasters such as typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. Typhoon Haiyan, Yolanda, in 2013, was one of the most devastating storms in history. Bilateral relations. The Philippines continues to maintain strong relations with the United States, but its relationship with China has been contentious, especially regarding territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Political issues, corruption, human rights concerns, and the ongoing struggle for peace in Mindanao remain central to the political discourse. The history of the Philippines is a story of resilience, struggle, and hope, with a people who continue to fight for their identity, independence, and future.